I Archana Oinam, I English ki Ozan. Hello classics, today we have a new lesson number 10 from your English course book, and the topic of the lesson is greatness goes with simplicity and humility. Now the topic seems to be very complicated. But we are going to study, we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about a very well-known person, well-known face or figure of our country, and the moment I show you the picture, all of you will know who I'm talking about. But when you look at the topic, it says greatness goes with simplicity and humility. We don't need to be proud if we are great. What goes well with being great is your simplicity and your humility. About whom are we going to talk in this lesson? Now I'll show you a picture. Look at this picture. Who is this? I know you all know him, and we commonly know him as the Missile Man of India. Most of you have seen him in films, in TVs, in serials. He is a very famous person, and his name is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The moment you hear the word Kalam, what comes to your mind? You are reminded of the rockets and missiles, Agni, Prithivi, isn't it? You all know him more as a scientist. Hek pictures se ubaga. Noi kharadi na yabu higalangani, no puno ongani, asidi Kalam ne hai. Ko hek ubaga. Sir Abdul Kalam hek ubaga koi na kanaga associate tawi rocket ka associate tawi ba ko mahak se apawu scientist mani de koi loi na makangi ko. But what type of a man was he? That we are going to discuss in your lesson number 10. So this is Sir APJ Abdul Kalam, the rocket man of India, and yes, he went on to become a very famous scientist, and he had really given great contributions from his part for the development of this country, and let us see more about him. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, or Avul Pakir Jalaluddin Abdul Kalam is his full name. Avul Pakir Jalaluddin Abdul Kalam. He was born on 15th October 1931. Okay, remind yourself of these dates, which are very important. 15th October 1931, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, or Sir Abdul Kalam was born. He was an Indian scientist who worked hard, who contributed, who gave most of his life, or we can even say who sacrificed his life for the development of rocket and missiles, or for scientific development, or in the development of science and technology for this country, for our country, India. Okay, so he was a scientist, but later he became the President of India in 2002, 25th July. Okay, he was sworn in as the President of India. We know him more as a scientist. Now let us see what his contributions were as a scientist. Now what did he do as a scientist? As a scientist, he raised a nation to the level of missile power of international recognition. Okay, he put India on the map. What map? On the missile power map. Okay, India se mana ne map ta India hana map ta leite happen te ko map ta pukhale India gi masak se tonga na chong thoale karida missile powered missile yamna leiba country amo in India se mana puthok pire ko pukhat pire Agni, Prithivi, Akash, Trishul, Nag missiles. This we all know these names, isn't it? These are well-known names, and all this happened. All these names are well-known household names. Why? Because of the contribution of Sir APJ Abdul Kalam. And for such contribution, he was awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1997. Don't forget this date. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1997, and this Bharat Ratna is the highest civilian award. So he received this award for all his contribution. Okay. So he was a scientist, a very famous, well-known man. But what type of a person was he? As a man, as a human being, what type of a man was he? He was the simplest, the humblest, the most noble man that anyone had seen. He led a very modest life also. How humble, how simple, how modest was he? Let us see. And you've also seen in your chapter number 9 about Lal Bahadur Shastri, isn't it? He was a big man, a great leader who went on to become the second Prime Minister of India, but who continued living a simple life. So likewise, we have another great leader, that is also a scientist, that is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who led a very humble, simple life. Now, how humble was he? Let us see how simple was he. He was appointed as the principal scientific advisor to the Prime Minister, and it is a very high-ranking post. Okay, it was equivalent to a cabinet minister post. But what did he do? He even had the benefit of enjoying a palatial bungalow. Mahak si principal scientific advisor to the Prime Minister oina hape. Achauba thak amani palatial bungalow achauba yung mamada layba yabagi rank amani mangond adugis kainobo piramme the facility wo pyramid achauba yung mamada laybagi, but he did not accept it. Mahakna accept tauramde. What did he do? He occupied only 2 rooms in the Defense Ministry's guest house. Ka ani khaktang lauraga layrameba. He denied all the accommodations, all the facilities given to him. Instead, he accepted, like he said that he wanted to stay in the Defense Ministry's guest house, and he took only 2 rooms. Okay. Now, another example of how humble or how simple was he was Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, called Dr. Abdul Kalam to Delhi because she wanted to felicitate him, to honor him, to respect him, to regard him for his contribution on developing all this or building up all these missiles. She wanted to felicitate him. But when he received that invitation, he was not happy. He became sad. And it was a very, very serious concern for Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Why? He panicked, not because he did not want to meet the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Why did he panic? Because he neither had a suit nor shoes to wear. He had no clothes, good clothes to wear. He had no shoes to wear. Then what was he wearing all the day, all the time? He had only 2 bush shirts. Only 2 shirts, like simple shirts. Okay, half sleeve shirts he had, that also only 2. And he had only 1 chappal that he had been wearing his entire lifetime while he was building this missile. So he was such a simple man. He had no accessories, no luxuries in life. So he was afraid. He did not know how will he present himself in front of the Prime Minister. And when he panicked at that moment, the head of Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, Sir Satish Dhawan, what did he say to Abdul Kalam? He said, you don't need to wear fancy clothes. You don't need any more clothes. Why? Because you are already wearing the suit of success. So just go there, just feel comfortable and go there. So this was how Sir Satish Dhawan encouraged Abdul Kalam to face the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So such was Sir Kalam's simplicity. All that matters to him was work. Okay, so Kalam dedicated his achievement to the influence of his teachers and mentors. He loved, respected his teachers and his mentors. Mahaki oza, mahakpo takpirakpa, tambirakpa, mahaki guide singbu mahakna atuki matik mana thogalon utlami, mahakna makhoibu yamna honor tawjarami Abdul Kalam. So he dedicated all his achievement mahakna phangakpa khutikmak mahaki oja singda, mahaki takpirakpa guru singda mahakna kathokjarami. Now let us see what happened, how Abdul Kalam reacted when he saw his old teacher. Let us see. In 1990, Sir Abdul Kalam was invited to deliver a speech at a convocation, and the convocation was to take place at Madurai Kamraj University. Now, when he reached there, he did not directly go to the function or directly go to the convocation hall. What did he do? The first thing he did after reaching Madurai Kamraj University was he inquired after his old high school teacher, Sir Iyadurai Solomon. And Sir Solomon was his high school teacher, whom he loved and respected a lot. So the first thing he did was he went on and inquired what happened to his teacher. Then he learned that Sir Iyadurai Solomon now was a reverend in a church, and he was living in the suburb of Madurai. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam straight away went to search his teacher, Sir Iyadurai Solomon, took him and brought him to the function. Now, at that point, his teacher knew that Sir Abdul Kalam was coming and he was going to deliver a speech at the convocation, but the teacher had no means of meeting his student. The teacher also wanted to meet the student, but the teacher had no means. He did not know that Sir Abdul Kalam would come and pick him up. But when he saw Sir Abdul Kalam coming to pick him up, he came with Sir Abdul Kalam to attend the function. Seeing such respectable, such manners, such attitude, such behavior from Sir Abdul Kalam, what happened? Dr. P.C. Alexander, the then governor of Tamil Nadu, who was also the president of that convocation ceremony, he asked Sir Iyadurai Solomon to come up and share the dais with him. So, such dedication, such respect for his teacher that even the governor felt like it was that he was supposed to honor Sir Abdul Kalam's teacher. So mahaki ozado lauraga function to yahole function to gi president oriba governor matam dugi Tamil Nadu hojiti Chennai haire ko Tamil Nadu gi governor duna kaukhatlaga Dr. P.C. Alexander na kaukhatlaga dais ta phaminaraga Sir Iyadurai Solomon bu honor torame. Kalam said, bowing to his teacher, Kalam mahaki ozado da khoiramaga hairame. What did he say? Great dreams of great dreamers always transcends all barriers. Now, as a child, we have seen a lot about Sir Abdul Kalam's achievement. He became a scientist. He was even honored. He was felicitated by the then Prime Minister. He was he was a principal scientific advisor to the Prime Minister, and we have seen many achievements about him. But what about him as a child? As a child, Sir Abdul Kalam or Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was fascinated by the mysteries of the sky and the flight of birds. He always used to sit by the bank, by the river bank, and he would always look up at the sky and see the birds flying. He was fascinated. He really wanted to be a pilot. His dream was to be a pilot. So, as a child, he felt very much attracted towards all these mysteries that was happening up in the sky. And his dream was to become a pilot, where? In the Indian Air Force. So it was his dream. But at those days, his father wanted Sir APJ Abdul Kalam to become a collector, because he thought that as a collector, his son would earn a lot of money and they would have a decent living. So such was Dr. Abdul Kalam. He had so much of achievement in his life, and as a child, he had his dream, he had his aim, he had his ambition to become a pilot. But did he really succeed to become a pilot? Did he got his aims and ambitions fulfilled? That we shall see in our next part.